The movie opens with a family of 4 in a semi-basement apartment. Struggling to make ends meet are the father, Ki-taek, his wife, Chung-suk, and their daughter, Ki-jung, and son, Ki-woo. They depend on folding pizza boxes for meager income, but it's not even close to paying their bills. Life is hard, and the chances are few. Then one day, Ki-woo receives a visit from a college friend. His friend has brought a mysterious stone, a gift from his grandfather. They say the stone brings luck and wealth to those who own it. When he presents it to Ki-woo, he tells him that it is intended to change the latter's luck. While he is on the phone with Ki-woo, he opens up to him about his family's terrible financial disposition. The next day on the phone, his friend who's about to head abroad for his studies mentions a potential job offer. He had been tutoring a girl from a wealthy family and is willing to recommend Ki-woo to take his place. Ki-woo hesitates, saying he isn't a university student, which could pose an obstacle. But his pal says a fake degree will do just fine and urges him to turn to his sister, a talented graphic artist, to design one. Taking a leaf out of his friend's book, Ki-woo's sister forges a convincing university certificate. With this, Ki-woo goes to the fancy house of the Park family for a tutoring interview. The Parks are a wealthy family made up of Mr. Park, his wife, Yeon-kyo, their teenage daughter, Dae-chae, and young son, Da-song. Taken with Ki-woo's attitude and demeanor, Mrs. Park hires him to tutor Dae-chae in English. Not long after, Ki-woo discovers that Dae-song loves art, but the family hasn't had good fortune in securing a proper teacher for him, or so it seems. On the fly, Ki-woo suggests an art therapist he knows, his sister, who he introduces to the family under the name Jessica. To keep up the ruse, he plays down their family connection. Ki-jung, under the new name Jessica, wins over Mrs. Park on her first visit and gets the gig as Da-song's art therapist. Now, both sibs work in the same house, pretending not to know one another. They go to great lengths to keep the impression that they are professionals and not family. At some point, after Ki-jung has helped Da-song with a session and Mr. Park gets home, he kindly offers to have his driver drop her off. She complies and is dropped off near a metro station. During the ride, she discreetly drops her clue, a technique designed to pique suspicion. She hides her underwear under the car seat. It later leads Mrs. Park to suspect an affair between the driver and the youthful art tutor. Off the back of this manufactured scandal, the Park family decides to fire the driver. Seizing the moment, Ki-jung proposes a new chauffeur, her uncle, who happens to be her father, Ki-taek. Ki-taek arrives for the interview, makes a good impression on Mr. Park with his professionalism, and gets hired. Now 3 members of the Kim family work for the Parks, all under false identities, all pretending not to know each other. But they aren't done yet. The last step is to bring in their mother, Chung-suk, to stay with the family. The only thing in their way is a long-serving housekeeper, Moon-gwang. To be rid of her, the family concocts a plan. They learn that Moon-gwang has a major peach allergy. They start secretly sprinkling peach-fuzz on her, which makes her break out in allergic attacks. After several such episodes, she's hospitalized. While she's out, Ki-taek engineers a situation in which it looks like Moon-gwang has tuberculosis. At the hospital, he takes a picture of the woman and plants the idea in Mrs. Park's head. Using ketchup smeared on tissue to simulate blood, the family stages a dramatic charade they hope will persuade Mrs. Park of the housekeeper's illness. Panic-stricken, she immediately shoots Moon-gwang. With the gig empty, Ki-jung suggests a reliable chef she knows, their mom, Chung-suk. Following another well-staged introduction, Chung-suk gets the job. All 4 members of the Kim family, too, then work for the Park family with a different identity each. Their lives begin to change. They have a nice house, food to eat, and secure sources of income coming in, and so their fortunes are beginning to take a turn for the better. One day, the Park family plans a camping trip for Da-song's birthday. With the house empty, the Kims seize the opportunity to relax. They lounge in the stylish house, drink without restraint, and indulge in a short experience of a high life they have never tasted. Just as they're celebrating, their doorbell rings unexpectedly. Though it's the former housekeeper, Moon-gwang, at the end, in the rain. She says she left something in the basement and asks to come in. Chung-suk reluctantly lets her in. Moon-gwang heads downstairs, but doesn't come back for a while. Curiosity prompts Chung-suk to pursue her, where she discovers her struggling to budge a large shelf. When she assists her, it leads to a hidden entrance into a secret underground bunker. Inside, she finds Moon-gwang's husband, Yoon-sae, who has been living there in secret for over 4 years. Moon-gwang had kept him away from loan sharks, fearful for his life. Moon-gwang pleads with Chung-suk for permission to keep feeding her husband, even offering to pay her. But Chung-suk refuses, threatening to call the police. At that moment, Ki-taek, Ki-jung, and Ki-woo, who had been listening from the stairs, inadvertently give themselves away by slipping and falling into view. Moon-gwang understands. They're all relatives and have tricked their way into the house. Detecting the moment, she films a clip on her phone, accidentally causing Ki-woo to call Ki-taek dad amidst the chaos. She threatens to send this video to the Parks. To solidify their control, Moon-gwang and Gun-se push the Kims upstairs and humiliate them by making them hold their hands up as they're filmed. A tense standoff follows, but the Kims turn the tables, overpowering the couple and deleting the video from Moon-gwang's phone. Just then, the phone rings. Chung-suk answers the phone. It's Mrs. Park calling. She tells her that the family outing has been extended, but it has been cut short because of a sudden downpour, and they'll be home in 8 minutes. Kindly ask that dinner is ready before their arrival. As Chung-suk is on the phone, the rest of the Kim family is covering the former housekeeper and her husband's mouths as they hold them down in the hidden basement. As soon as the call is over, the Kims rush to bind the couple's hands and feet and stash them back in the bunker. Frantically, they spring into action, racing against time to clean the house from top to bottom, clear away the evidence of the disaster, and reset everything to look like nothing happened. Sure enough, 8 minutes later, the Park family arrives. The house looks clean, and no one would guess the bedlam that ensued moments earlier. Quickly and quietly, each member of the Kim family sets off to their hides within the home. Later that night, while Chung-suk serves food, Mrs. Park shares a disturbing memory. She remembers one night, some years back, her young son, Da-song, waking up terrified, claiming to have seen a ghost in the house. What Da-song actually saw, unbeknownst to her, was the housekeeper's husband briefly appearing from the basement. In shock and too young to comprehend what she had seen, the girl was haunted by the image, believing it to be a spirit. Despite the storm, Da-song insists on sleeping outside in a tent for his birthday, an idea his parents cautiously allow. Wanting to keep an eye on him, Mr. and Mrs. Park set up camp on the living room couch, positioned by the window. Meanwhile, Ki-taek, Ki-jung, and Ki-woo are trapped underneath that very couch, unable to escape without being noticed. As the Parks lay together, talking softly, Ki-taek hears Mr. Park comment on something that deeply wounds him. Mr. Park mentions that their driver, Ki-taek, has a particular unpleasant smell. It's not just body odor, it's something old and musty, like people who ride the subway. Ki-taek listens in silence, embarrassed and humiliated. It reminds him of when Do-song once said his tutor, Ki-woo, smells just like the housekeeper and the driver. That smell, unknown to the Parks, is the scent of poverty, the mildew of their semi-basement home, embedded into their clothes and skin. This moment of quiet humiliation lingers. The Kim family realizes that no matter how well they dress, how smoothly they lie, or how close they get to the upper class, something invisible but undeniable separates them. The smell, symbolic of their status, can't be washed away by soap or perfume. Eventually, the Parks fall asleep, and the Kims take the opportunity to quietly crawl out and sneak back to their own home. But when they arrive, they find devastation. The torrential rain that had ruined the Parks' picnic has flooded their neighborhood. Their home is submerged in water. Belongings float in the dirty floodwaters, and sewage overflows from the drains. Through the chaos, Ki-jung tries to save a few precious items while Ki-taek helps others in the community. Their basement apartment, already barely livable, is now ruined. They take refuge in a nearby shelter, spending the night on mats under the buzzing lights of a crowded gymnasium. The next morning, Mrs. Park calls again, blissfully ignorant of the Kim family's struggle. She asks Ki-jung, Jessica, to come to a garden party for Dae-song's birthday, asking her to be the boys' art therapist. She also asks if Ki-woo, Da-hai's English tutor, can join as well. It's just another sunny day and another celebration for the Park family. As they make preparations for the event, Ki-taek drives Mrs. Park to the market. Inside the car, she avoids breathing, the aftermath still hanging on Ki-taek. She makes a half-hearted attempt to conceal her discomfort, but the gesture is not lost on him. Ki-taek is wounded, even if he does not speak, no matter how thoroughly he tries to bury it. As the garden party commences in full swing, kids are running around the yard, and music is playing in the background. Da-hai is upstairs with Ki-woo. As they converse, he asks if she really thinks he's suited for her world. She nods gently, but he knows better. they are not the same. He and his family are in a lie, one wobble away from everything coming crashing down. Motivated by anxiety and the need to protect his family's secret, Ki-woo is determined to go back to the concealed basement. He carries the odd stone once given by his friend, once thought to bring good fortune. In his mind, he hopes that finally eliminates the threat from the former housekeeper's husband. He goes down into the dark basement, not knowing that the housekeeper has died due to injuries she suffered the previous night. In the struggle, when Chung-suk kicked her down the stairs as she tried to flee, while Ki-woo never had murder on mind, he's now entering a deadly situation. When he gets to the basement holding the rock, it falls from his hands. He gingerly picks it up once more, intending to confront the man lurking beneath. But before he had a chance to act, the man, now unmoored to hunger, rage, and grief, ambushes him. He throws a rope around Ki-woo's neck and pulls it tight, dragging him across the floor. In a moment of lunacy, he grabs the rock Ki-woo had brought and brings it down on his own head. Ki-woo faints, badly wounded. The man, now totally out of control, ascends the staircase to the garden. He rolls up to the party covered in blood, wide-eyed. Guests are in shock. During the celebration, Ki-jung is bringing a birthday cake to Da-song when he spots her. Instantly recognizing her, he sprints. Suddenly, he plunges a knife into her chest. As Ki-jung lies injured, her father, Ki-taek, hurries to her side, attempting to staunch the bleeding by pushing down on her chest. But the injury is far too great. Blood gushed forth, and it was obvious the wound was critical. Chung-suk, realizing the attacking man is the same one who had come out of the basement, leaps at him in anger. The two engage in a brutal struggle, and, ultimately, as the chaos swirls around them, Chung-suk stabs him fatally. In the meantime, the homeowner, Mr. Park, is attempting to recover his car keys, which have dropped under the corpse of the assailant. Leaning down to gather them, the foul stench of the corpse assaults his senses. He instinctively covers his nose in disgust. This small gesture does not escape Ki-taek, who observes it taking place in the midst of his emotional breakdown. A familiar look of sadness shifts to something much darker. He views Mr. Park's reaction as not just a reaction to the smell, but an indication of the contempt that people like the Parks have for people like him. Lower-class people who carry with them the smell of poverty. That's when all of Ki-taek's pent-up fury explodes, and the indifference it displays to his dying daughter. He grabs a knife and suddenly stabs Mr. Park, killing him. Ki-taek disappears into the chaos that ensues. Chung-suk and Ki-woo are later arrested and charged with fraud and impersonation. But the court hands out a slap on the wrist. They're sprung with a warning. The Park's home eventually is sold to a German family, ignorant of its dark history. Little do they know that Ki-taek is still hiding in the secret basement. He communicates by flashing lights in their house, sending Morse-Code. Ki-woo, who has survived but is mentally scarred, watches the house from a distance using binoculars. One day, he notices the blinking lights and decodes the message, a signal from his father. He learns that Ki-taek is alive and still trapped below. Haunted by guilt and grief, Ki-woo vows to work hard, earn money, and one day buy the house. In his mind, he dreams of rescuing his father, of Ki-taek emerging from the basement into the sunlight and reuniting with his family. But that moment is just a dream, a hopeful fantasy, a bittersweet illusion. The story closes with Ki-woo still, imagining the impossible as reality remains grim. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and comment.